suspended. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
Are we live? Of course we're live. Cut. Start again. Are we live? Of course we're live. People deluded, I'm back again. As usual, appreciative of you lot tuned in for this video. Appreciate all of you lot rocking with all my platforms and stuff like that. Make sure you're following on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram, and all that good thing. Deluded Gooner 04 and everything. Deluded Gooner on Twitch. Make sure you check out the description. There's comment that there's in relation to my socials. It's all there. Make sure you're commenting, you're smashing the like button and all of those things. You're turning on your notifications and everything else. I hope you and your loved ones are in good health. Now it's a bit of a quiet period, not where football's concerned. I'm sure you're all seeing what's happened with Manchester City and things, but where Arsenal concerns, there's nothing really, at least until we play Brentford and so on and so forth. As we know, the transfer window is closed, but that doesn't mean transfers are done. The dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. Take all of these rumors with a pinch of salt, but let's see what's being said. Now, first things first, people, if I share my screen, our talented young Vlahovic Balogun has been linked with moves away consistently since he's gone to Reims, built on his loan spell at Middlesbrough and taking European football by storm. Obviously, he's eligible to play for America, Nigeria, and England, but in relation to him being English-born, he's one of the top English-born strikers and in world football at the moment in terms of scoring goals, and obviously one of the most informed forwards in Europe. And at this moment in time, whether he's able to continue doing this is another thing, but at this moment in time, he's the top goal scorer in France, and he's doing what the loan spell was designed for him. He's getting confidence, he's getting consistency, and obviously playing up front, he's getting competency. Still think there's a long way to go in terms of general play, but he's at where he should be at in a nice way. And as you know, with his contract being up in 2025, within the next 12 to 18 months, Arsenal have a decision to make whether you give him a new deal, reward him for his progress, give him a chance in the first team at some point, loan him back out again to show that this great season is not an anomaly or a purple patch or a blip. You're now here to stay, or be sold, reinvest the profit maybe to go to a striker that at this moment in time is better than Balogun, or distribute resources elsewhere. I don't think Arsenal have made a decision yet. I don't think there's a reason to make a decision yet. I do think Arsenal are planning the short, medium and long-term steps. I do think they're considering everything. I do think Balogun has a good chance of making it at Arsenal. Reality is he's behind Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah at this moment in time. And once you're exposed to first-team football, it can be difficult to go back. But for what it's worth, Arsenal could cash in on Flo Balogun in summer transfer as they are faced with dilemma for on-loan striker. He's also drawn interest from two big Italian clubs in AC Milan and Inter Milan. At 21 years of age, you know, he's not the finished article. Arsenal could sell him and then think, why did we do that? You could sell him and he never progressed. I don't know. I'm happy it's not my decision to make. But as you see here, people, he's got 14 goals so far for Reims in the league. And he's currently a bit of a punch to say outshining Lionel Messi and Mbappe. But I do like the headline, people. He definitely outshined them when his team met PSG the other week. He's been described by English boss Reims English boss Will Still as a complete striker. Apparently, people, you know, and he's asked if they could sign Balogun on a permanent deal in the recent transfer window. That request was rejected by Arsenal, who have still not decided what to do with Balogun on whether he plays a part in Mikel Arteta's long-term plans. At least he's getting the talking point. If I play devil's advocate, not making a decision, could be making a decision. Reality is he's 21 years of age. You could keep him at Arsenal and he might develop, he might not. You could sell him and it looks like good business because he doesn't go on and do any better, or you could loan him out again and his transfer value could take a hit. He's 21. He's still trying to bring consistency into his game, and I think while he's doing well in terms of goals, his general play is improving. But if he is to play under Mikel Arteta, I think Eddie Nketiah and Jesus at this moment in time are better than him at that. But let's hope it continues. He's got 18 months to run on his current deal, people, and Arsenal will either have to hand him a lengthy new deal at the end of the season or sell him for a maximum profit, people. And it's a decision to make, really, but it doesn't appear that there's anything new here. Obviously, he's probably a free agent in 2025 or in 2023, so it is something on the back burners. Obviously, the priorities are Charlie Patino, Ethan Nwaneri to go with rumours to Chelsea and Man City. Obviously, Bukayo Saka and Saliba to tie in with what Martinelli's doing. So I have to see, people. Balogun, for what it's worth, said he said Arsenal is my family, but I've spent my whole career in England and I knew it was going to be a different test when I came to Reims. I didn't know the language. I'm still trying to learn, but it was an important it was important for me to step out of my comfort zone and challenge myself. Like in life, if you don't do that, you don't improve. That's the reason I'm here, and hopefully it's a decision that will pay off for me. I think it is already. He's already said, I've already reached my target for the start of the season, and now I want to do even better, and I'm hoping to score 20 goals. So I think every Arsenal fan and everyone is hoping you get there. You're only 6 off with a fair amount of the season to go. He set himself the target of 10 goals. Let's get to 20, big man. It is what it is. I don't know what you want to believe there. Carrying on with the Balogun stuff, people. He said the goals are great, but it's everything else. When you look at, this is Julian the runs. When you look at the striker, you look at goals, but the movement, the awareness, the intelligence, all of that is as important, and he has all of that, and he has got that, really, people. Apparently, Reims had only won one game when still replaced Oscar Garcia. So again, there's nothing like being prepared for real life. He's dealing with managers changing, and he's shown that under 2 gaffers, he can still be an important player. These are things that you have to deal with. The 21-year-old's importance to Reims' team cannot be underestimated. He has scored 54% of their league goals, 14 of their 26, a higher share of any player for a team in Europe's top 5 leagues. Only 6 Reims players have scored in the league this season. The next top goal scorer is Eto'o, who has scored 4 times. He's been once again described as a complete striker. He's able to play with his back to goal and deep. He scores, he's decisive. So his general play is also improving. Julian Laurent said, what do Arsenal do with him? Do you give him a place in the squad, or do you sell him? He would be worth a lot of money and incredible talent, a positive headache for Arsenal. I'd agree with such people. He's got 14 league goals, 15 in all comps, people. So it is what it is, people. And I mean, Nigeria could be laughing if they're able to tempt Balogun to him, because that's another player that they've got. As you can see there, Ademola Lookman's got a new lease of life for himself at Atalanta at this moment in time. Again, he only scored 3 times for Middlesbrough. And this is, that was his first loan spell, and he's done better in his second. And again, turbulent times are always going to happen. Strikers and players are always going to go through good or bad form. Balogun wasn't a regular starter for Barrow last season. Sorry, he wasn't ready. Chris Wilder would often deploy him from the bench, and his impact for the most part was limited. He scored 3 goals in 4 championship matches towards the end of the campaign, a good goal against Middlesbrough, which hinted at what he might be capable of. That spell led many fans to believe he might rejoin on loan for this season, but a move didn't materialize because he joined a bigger club, really, in a bigger league. The sacking of Wilder and the subsequent appointment of Michael Carrick as head coach has seen the club head in a different direction, but his current form will have many Borough supporters thinking about what it might have been. To be fair with you would have learned a lot under Michael Carrick. From one striker to another, people, allegedly, and take with a pinch of salt all of these things, Arsenal are reportedly very likely to make another move for Dusan Vlahovic in the summer, people, obviously in light with what's going on with Juventus off the field. Allegedly, according to transfer expert Nicolo Karani, but forgive me for mispronunciation, smash the like button. Arsenal had already tried to take him before the transfer to Juventus. We know that. The idea has remained, and at the end of the season, a new attempt is very likely in England. However, he is not the only one. Man United has also started to move. In short, the situation is evolving. So he's been linked with a whole bunch of clubs. I don't doubt that Arsenal probably would like a striker with different profiles, but at the same time, if we were to get Caicedo, who's going to cost 70 odd million, Declan Rice, who's 75 to 100, that's 100 and odd million on 2 centre mids. With the Champions League money, you'd imagine we do a lot, but that's, to go in line with the money we spent in January plugging the areas and not knowing what else Mikel Arteta wants to do with his squad. One has to wonder if this is really credible. But if you was to get 30 to 50 million euros for Balogun, maybe that could be put on top of any cash reserves you have for Vlahovic and any other areas. So we'll have to see how these things develop. I don't quite buy that, really, because I just think Arsenal have been taken around the houses where Vlahovic is concerned, with his advisors not picking up calls and them things. So I think anything can happen. And if he's a good player and Arteta wants him, he tried to buy him in Jan, fair play. But we were taken around the houses. We were once bitten, twice shy sort of thing. I think it's regardless of his ability, we just won't get involved. But that's just my opinion. Arsenal set to make second Dusan Vlahovic transfer raid this summer, but Man United also want Juventus striker. Both teams, you can make a case of needing a forward. A hot summer also seems to be on the horizons for forwards. One of them is definitely Vlahovic. The Premier League is now moving at another great level and is potentially able to present very high offers, and Italy remains one of the favourite destinations. Arsenal had already tried to sign him before the transfer to Juventus. The idea remained, and at the end of the season, a new attempt is very likely. So we'll have to see, people. But considering we've just bought Jesus and we've got Eddie Nketiah developing and you've got Balogun, I'm not saying I would say no to Vlahovic, but who knows, people, really and truly. So yeah, it is what it is in that regard. Again, take a pinch with salt, with a pinch of salt. Anything that comes out of Italy, we're always linked with Milinkovic Savic. A bunch of clubs are. Arsenal closing on cut price Milinkovic Savic transfer as ex-Man United target makes irresistible choice to leave Lazio. Arsenal reportedly favourites to sign Milinkovic Savic with the Lazio star keen for a new challenge. Again, we've been linked with a lot of midfielders. These lot, Ruben Neves, Yuri Telemans, throughout the summer, throughout January, and obviously what's followed us with the off-season heading into May, with it being February. So who knows, people. Allegedly, we tried to sign him last summer, but he decided to stay in Rome. Allegedly, he now has decided he wants to leave, and Arsenal are his preferred destination, according to a report out of Italy. As we know, he's contracted until 2024, like Declan Rice. Obviously, asterisk, because Rice has an option of another deal. These are players, even Maddison of Leicester, Ruben Neves as well, players that this is probably, entering the last period they could get significant money for these players. Apparently, he's keen for Lazio to receive a hefty windfall after 7 years of service at the Serie A club. That likely means he will leave in the summer, with Milinkovic Savic, 27, aiming to join the Champions League club. Arsenal are believed to have taken the most convinced steps in signing him. As you know, we tried to sign Moses Caicedo in January. 2 bids did not bang for us, so not too sure what to believe. It is what it is. In relation to Declan Rice, West Ham always asks for big money for Rice, says Romano. It was 150 million 1 year ago. I think the price could now be around 90 to 100, but it depends on many factors, and it's really too early to predict the final price. Arsenal and Chelsea have always been interested. According to Adrian Clark, he said that he said, I can't reveal my source, but I do know that Declan Rice has been sounding out people connected with the club, saying what's it like. So he's putting the feelers out, and he's probably doing that not just with Arsenal, but a number of clubs that have been interested. Arsenal, Arteta directly involved in new talks with 100 million start at the Emirates. I think this kind of continues what we know and have heard about Declan Rice in relation to reports, people. Dean Jones has said Declan Rice for sure remains a priority for Arsenal in the summer. There are some updates because the Gunners have the West Ham midfielder in their sights, and the first contact to collect preliminary information already happened. During January, there were new contacts in which Arteta was directly involved. No personal terms have been under discussion with the entourage of Declan Rice, but Arsenal understood that the player wants to join them. So we're putting the initial feelers out. There's still a long way to go. Have to agree a fee with West Ham, which when we're projected for these big money targets, we'll have to see. And then you have to dot I's and cross T's. And again, we have to take it with a pinch of salt. We never know how close or how far or the level of interest clubs really have in these players. I think January really reflected that with a number of transfers that looked dead set to happen and then went elsewhere, people. Mudryk to Arsenal. And I would also say Cody Gakpo to United, then Liverpool, and obviously Mudryk went Chelsea. Apparently, Rudy Galletti said, I reported days ago Yuri Telemans preferred to remain at Leicester in January to choose carefully the next destination in the summer and to maximize his new contract. Obviously, his deal is running down. Arsenal have shown interest in him, but Telemans is just one of the names in their midfield list, which again, Telemans, Neves, Caicedo, Declan Rice. There's probably a bunch of other players, really. And with Milinkovic Savic, I think there's a list of names, but, can't sign everybody. So we'll have to see. Zubamendi as well. Apparently, Arsenal target Zubamendi posts his remarkable statistic. And I would love him to sign for us, people. He's being linked with Barcelona, such as all of these players in high demand. 199 midfielders have contested at least 150 aerial duels since the start of the 2019-20 season. He has a win rate of 71.1%, people. He's won 165 of the 232 he's contested. So he's up there for progressive passes in that 6th row. And obviously, deceivingly, I don't know how tall he is, but he doesn't look like tall on TV. He's good in the air. Very much a Rodri sort, people. So you can see why Arteta would want him. Completely off topic, but Reece Nelson spoke. He said, Mikel Arteta was my coach when I was 12, 13 years of age. Even at that age, I felt he was going to do certain things because there were other player coaches there, but they weren't really engaging as much. Mikel was one of the ones who would run a 1v1 drill with a defender and me attacking them, and he'd be giving me little coaching advice like, when you get close to the defender, use this foot or use the outside of your body to move like this. He then went on to say, he obviously Arteta described him once as a special talent. He said it was pretty clear that we both had the same intentions. He said he saw a very good change in my mentality and how I approach things. He said it was never my footballing ability. It was just he felt sometimes I could be not immature, but I didn't understand the opportunity I had in front of me. That's something I had to learn at Feyenoord, and he wants me to carry it into Arsenal. So big up Reece Nelson. Hopefully he does what he can do, people. And big up to him for obviously, giving back and creating football pitches for people to be able to play in that. But that's completely off topic. Saliba said in the aftermath to us losing to Everton, people, he said, on the ground, we were not those who wanted to win the most. One lacks determination. We lost a lot of balls. We made a lot of mistakes. We weren't good at all today. It's not over. It's behind us. We'll take this match as an example to quickly bounce back next week. The coach's speech, he said what was missing today was determination, which is facts. On the pitch, Everton wanted it more than us. Considering some of you ain't won a league title and we ain't won a league trophy in 20 years, that should never be the case, respectfully to Everton and their situation. They were the better men on the day. We could have taken more. We are even happy to have conceded only one goal. Facts. We must take this match as an example. We know it's not over and there are still a lot of matches left and already quickly bounce back at home next week. Big up Saliba, people, because I think that's the truth. We have been linked with Ansu Fati, people. Allegedly, Barcelona would only sell Fati if he makes the first move for a transfer. He's been heavily linked with Manchester United today as well, people. So we'll have to see. He's not really been dealt a good time with injuries. His agent is George Mendes, that looks after a lot of primarily Portuguese/Spanish talents. And obviously, Arsenal have worked with George Mendes. And obviously, Ansu Fati ties in with what we're doing with the youngster stuff and whatnot. So take of that with a pinch of salt. To round this up, once again, Arsenal keeping tabs allegedly on Dusan Vlahovic. We're currently the favourites for Matoma of Brighton. We're targeting Real Sociedad duo Odemi Mendes and Zubamendi. We've joined the race for Ansu Fati. We're the overwhelming favourites to sign Yuri Telemans, favourites for Telemans, favourites for Declan Rice, favourites for Milinkovic. Savic is moving back in for Vlahovic. Boy, these are easy to break. Easy rumours to break. We face competition for Declan Rice. That's nothing new. Caicedo, Declan Rice, Zubamendi, they're all linked with other clubs. Ruben Neves, Yuri Telemans. Good players are always going to be demanded by everyone. So it all depends what you want to read, people, really and truly. But in relation to that, that's all I've got to say. Please let me know your opinions. Make sure you smash the like button, you turn on your notifications, you subscribed. Most importantly, stay having a blessed day, blessed week. Hope you and your loved ones stay in good health, and appreciate all the support you give my channel and for tuning in today. One love, folks.
There's always just that active red flag, defending.
I think it's like